What if I told you that half of this hyper-realistic metallic ladybug was done with AI, and the other half was drawn by hand by yours truly? Can you tell which one's which? In this video, I will show you how I challenged AI to a draw-off to see which one of us is actually better. I'm of the belief that while AI is a fun and shiny new toy for us to play with, the real deal, the actual human artist hand, can never be replaced. In fact, I set out to prove that I can achieve even better, sharper, prettier hyperrealism with my colored pencils than what any high-end AI print will ever be. But that's not all. In this video, I will share with you my experiment, but I will also teach you how to achieve this amazing metallic effect without using any metallic pencils. In fact, with just using your regular colored pencils. And here's what I did. First, I drew my ladybug with pencils on paper and then digitalized it to create this printable coloring page. I then fed my design to two image generating programs that I use, Midjourney and Gemini, and tried to convince them the best I could to color it for me and make it look 3D, real, and featuring pink metallic effects. After several hopeless attempts and a couple of, maybe I can use these, Gemini finally spat out this at me. So I immediately grabbed it, slapped it over half of my coloring page, printed it, and here we are. Now you're all cut up. I printed this on cream-toned 60-pound cardstock paper. Link below if you want to try the same one. And I'm using my trusty Prismacolor pencils for this metallic effect. Starting with burnt ochre for the pink metal base. Someone in the audience, drop a comment if that's you, requested that I do a demo specifically on rose gold. And in fact, I designed this ladybug just for you, my friend. So we'll make the head and the legs in rose gold, and we'll make the shell, the hard wings of the beetle, in this pink bubblegum synthetic kind of a metal. Now I'm coming in with my first blender pencil for a 3D rose gold effect. And this color is called cream. On metallic effects, it's especially important not to grind into the surface of the page because we'll be using so many layers of so many different colors. We need to be able to layer and blend without burnishing the page. As fun as it may be, if we burnish now, we will absolutely lock ourselves out of any ability to add colors further on. We definitely don't want to do that. Now let's add the rose of the rose gold. I'm using magenta. So far, this is looking nice, but it's not quite hyper-realistic yet. It doesn't really scream realism, and it's obviously done by hand. We can see the colored pencil strokes. So at this point, I was kind of freaking out, thinking maybe I bit off more than I could chew. Certainly, coming in with higher contrast color was hopeful for me. Maybe that will create the hyper-realistic effect. But I stuck with it. Patience, my friends. Patience is how you do it. Metallic effects take time. They take planning, precision, and understanding of not only the exact metal you're working with, but also how this metal plays in the light to appear 3D. Actually, this kind of side-by-side practice is exactly how I teach metals in my metallics effects masterclass. In the first chapter, where we learn different colors of metals, I have you guys copy my spheres exactly. And that provides not only valuable practice, but builds a shading and layering habit. It's worked so well for all of my students so far. I hope that you give this practice a shot as well. Oh, and you guys need the page, don't you? I actually made 3 versions of this one. Line drawing, grayscale, and this freaky half and half version. All 3 are up as a single download. It's my gift to you, 100% free. Go get it. The clickable link is below, or you can scan this QR code. I've been getting such amazing and positive feedback from you guys on the coloring pages. Thank you so much. And I love seeing all of your creations that you post on Discord. And on the note of pages, even if you're not ready to color this right now, I highly encourage you to go and get the download anyway. Hint, hint, hint. You see, I've put a spell on these downloads, so now you have a chance of getting some extra gifts when you do it. It could be an entire free book download or a course offer. I hope you get a good one. This is rose gold, but it's still gold. So we do need a nice golden color without bringing in metallic pencils. Find a bright, sunshiny yellow. or a light orange or a yellow ochre, and make sure to infuse these gradient transition areas with this cheerful new color. And no metallic effect is ever complete without true black. I teach a lot of metallic effects on this channel and obviously in the metallic effects masterclass. And those of you who follow my lessons know this really well by now. It's not metal if it doesn't have black. The other thing that we have to keep in mind on this beetle head is the texture. It has these artisanal dimples that make it a lot more fun to color, but also a little bit more challenging. We now have to consider the overall shape and behavior of this chunk of metal, but also the individual little craters. Lots to keep track of. But I'm going for hyperrealism here. There's no cutting corners. As I start on the shell in my bubblegum pink color, notice that I'm not just creating a perfect mirror image of what's on the left, but instead I'm actually treating this whole thing as a 3D object, considering my light source. So on a more philosophical note, why do we draw or color or make art at all? Why do you? Is it to chase the perfect effect? Is it to up your skill level? To prove that you're better than the machine like I'm doing right now? Or is it about the process and the experience? Do you do it for stress relief or for relaxation? I think art is above all the process. Yes, we create beautiful images that speak to people, that make people feel a certain way when they see them. But more than that, I think it's about the way we feel when we make the art. It's not about the outcome at all. And that's why I think AI can never replace real artists. So, okay, Gemini was able to create a gorgeous image based on my description. Matches my vision perfectly, flawless. But what's the point? I can hang this thing up on the wall, but when I look at it, I don't think I will actually feel anything. While if I frame this drawing, even though it looks identical, I know that I made it. So when I look at it, I will relive that experience. I will feel pride and joy looking at my accomplishment. There's a lot more in art than just lines and color. Oh, okay, so this is one of my favorite steps in colorful metals. You may recall this technique from the balloon bear video. I'm coming in with Tuscan red, which is like a burgundy color. This is achieving so many things at once. It's building up color saturation, it's creating smooth and sharp gradients around those dimples, and it's also smoothing out our actual color application, hiding the tooth of the paper. Essentially, we're achieving the smoothness that we would get through burnishing, but without burnishing. So we're not hurting the page, we can still keep adding colors, and everything is just looking smooth and realistic. So it's another one of those balance things. You have to find the balance between how gently you color and how much you go over the same area to actually get enough pigment on the page. Coloring gently is a good start, but you need to take it further and color a lot, many layers. Literally, see how many times I go over the same area. This entire half a beetle coloring took me 3 hours, and that's fast. That's actually crazy fast. No one needs to color hyper-realistic effects that quickly. If it takes you a day or a week or even a month, that's perfectly fine. Take your time with these effects. They're gonna be worth it. There's no rush. I will also share the full recording with my every single pencil color called out, which on this coloring was like several hundred colored pencil changes, but with only maybe 16 to 20 colors. Anyway, I will put up that full recording for my channel members and patrons. So if that's you, you guys already have access to it. Oh, okay, this part. Roll up your sleeves. This is gonna be pure magic. A little trick of the trade for that extra hyper-realistic feel. You know how we always end every metallic coloring with black? Well, in this case, we're bringing in another color after black to blend it and to dull it down just a little bit, just by a few degrees. I'm coming in with a 70% cool gray for this step. It sounds super specific and exotic, but it's not that big of a deal actually. If you're not working with a full range of Prismacolor pencils like I am, use whatever dark gray you have. The trick to metals is balancing cool and warm tones in addition to contrast. All of these concepts I cover in the masterclass, but also in how to use colored pencils like a pro, our flagship course. Here I can see that on the left side, the dark gray appears quite cool. Thankfully, I have an actual cool gray pencil, but if I didn't, I would have to balance whatever I have with a little bit of blue. If I wanted to make this gray warm instead, I would balance it with brown. You don't actually need giant expensive color pencil sets to achieve amazing results, but it certainly doesn't hurt. On this shell, I also have to be careful to keep the entire shape in mind with the shadows and highlights instead of getting caught up in the details. There's a lot to keep track of here, and this highlight along the edge is also slightly bluish. My absolute favorite effect on this is the way the black hearts are reflecting just a little bit of light. And here's how I did that. First, I primed all of my hearts with this jade green, which is neither jade nor green, actually. It's really just a grayish blue, and that's the pigment that you want to look for. Don't go chasing exact names. Sometimes they can be deceiving. Then, knowing where the highlights will be in the end, I blended just those areas with my white. And then I came in with pure black. Magic. Love this effect. Now, the wings were a little bit more tricky. While my beetle head and body came out looking even cooler and more realistic than my printed sample, I think it's the wings that give away the fact that this is hand-drawn and not printed. Though, I gotta say, I kinda like my wings better than the original. And this, once again, is why I like to use AI as a guide only. I searched, and the exact ladybug that I had in mind just did not exist. Being able to just conjure one out of the thin air for this lesson is kind of amazing. I think, ultimately, it's the sharpness and clarity of my black that makes my half of the love bug even more photorealistic than the realistic AI photo. A few pure white highlights here and there also went a long way. I know that many of you value having access to my full recordings of these projects, and if that's you, I'll pop up a link of that video on the screen right here. If you prefer these short edited tutorials, you must watch the Balloon Bear next. After all, now that you know how to make pink metallic effects, why not apply these tricks to other objects and materials?